easy.
Good morning, Luzon, Visayas at Mindanao. John Dewey was born in Burlington, Vermont in October 20 of Vermont. John Dewey focused on the study of philosophy. John Dewey graduated with his bachelor degree in 1879. John Dewey in 1859 to 1952. Learning through experience. Education is a social process. Children are socially active human beings explored their environment and gain control over it. Education is a social process by which immature members of the group, especially the children, are brought to participate to the society. School, a special environment established by the member of the society for the purpose of simplifying, purifying, and integrating the social experiment of the group, so that it will be understood, examined, and used by its children.
Progressive education is essentially a view of education that emphasizes the need to learn by doing. They will believe that human beings learn through a hands-on approach. Pragmatics believe that reality must be experienced. From Dewey's educational point of view, it means that the student must interact with their environment in order for them to adapt and learn. Dewey felt that same idea was true for teacher and student must learn together. Dewey's pragmatic and democratic approach of schooling may not stand out as radical today, but in the early and mid-1900s, his view of education was in contradiction to much of the present.
The role of the teacher in this setting will be serve as more facilitator than instructor. The teacher should observe the interests of the students, observe the direction that is naturally take, and then serve as someone who helps the development. The teacher is usually the deliverer of information, and the role of the student is to receive this information regurgitate in some form of a written test.
When Paulo was young, he stole food in order to feed his family. He eventually dropped out in school after his father died in heart condition. His mother pleaded the school principal of the local secondary school for him to attend the school. Paulo was passionate in using education to help others. With that, the principal agreed and even reduced his tuition fee. Paulo eventually studied philosophy while completing his degree. He began his career in 1942, teaching in the same school where he graduated from. In 1947, Crary became the director of the Department of Education and Culture and began conducting literacy program for adults. During this time, he developed his major ideas about the relationship between oppression, literacy, and educational praxis. Crere's educational philosophy harshly criticized as what he terms the banking model of education, which sees students as passive, empty, and receptacles to be filled by the wise, all-knowing teachers. Creres linked his model of education to the social, economic, and political relationship between oppressor and oppressed, which he experienced firsthand during his year of poverty and hunger. Crere's ontology states that the ultimate goal of a person is to increase their humanity. Prior then, the traditional hierarchical model of the relationship between the teachers and the students, where the teacher is firmly above the student. Let's hear the continuation of this report from Rizal Umlang.
This
is Rochelle Rubia.
Work, Critical Pedagogy and Oppressing, published in 1967. That effective education is built upon the democratic relationship where open to learn from one another. Students-teachers relationship is what allows conscientization, the critical awareness that precedes action to develop an oppressed people over time. Conscientization begins with students becoming aware of the contradictions in their social, political, economical, general, race and class conditions, and then taking action to resolve these
contradiction. Posing education, teachers problematize each issue and discuss in class, then students pose their own solution. Teachers and students then work together and both goal and process to successfully change the condition of oppression and ultimately achieve the democratic ideal of freedom and equality for all.
Dialogue is the basis for all problems, posing pedagogy, and requires solidarity, a sense of equal footing, and actual respect.
Teachers and students then work together and both goal and process to successfully change the condition of oppression and ultimately achieve the democratic ideal of freedom and equality for all.
Education is fundamental to the act of life. Among the many educators, philosophers, and activists influenced by Paulo Freire is R. Bell Hooks, Heinrich Gerow, Cornel West, and Jonathan Corol. The Paulo Freire Institute is currently active in 18 countries. Even U.S. educators have attempted to adopt Freire's model through some find it too controversial, for instance. Pedagogy of the Oppressed is one of the book banned by the states of Arizona. This is Giselle M. Omlang reporting.
Paulo Freire, the founder of critical pedagogy. Freire was born in 1921 in Recife, Brazil. His ideas about the role of education and the political freedom eventually become some of the most significant contribution to what's known as critical pedagogy. But to fully understand the context in which he formed his ideas, first, we have to know a little bit more about the history of Brazil. Brazil was a Portuguese colony from 1500 to 1822. Even after independence, Brazil was the last country in the Western Hemisphere to slavery in 1888. Well, into the 20th century, 85% of Brazil's population was still illiterate, and some still sold themselves or family members into black market slavery to ward off starvation. This is Renalyn Reyes reporting.